Like, how does the frame work? How do we reframe our lives in such a way that we're just like, yeah, life is good. Not perfect, but reframing life in a way we understand that life is good. So I want to share with you a little story about that. Now imagine a picture here. Imagine a picture of a dad with his daughter, right? And they've always taken this beautiful family vacation, when she was little. And they always had this little thing where they would go outside and they would watch the sunset over the lake. I mean, I can remember with our daughter, Brooke, going outside one night, and we had a lake house, and we were on the porch, and we're looking up, and the Milky Way's over top, and she's asking me questions about God. Never ask a pastor about God, by the way. You get a much longer answer than you want. But, this beautiful connected moment, right? Just beautiful. And the challenge can become this. And we're going to hold off on the next picture here for a minute. We can go through our lives thinking, oh yeah, you know what? The water and my daughter and our family, that was all joyous. And so as we mature, oftentimes we have more means, we have more financial resources to do things with. So we might decide I know that she really liked our little sunfish sailboat, so we're going to go with a bigger sailboat, which is great. And then a bigger sailboat, then a bigger sailboat, then a bigger sailboat, then a bigger sailboat, thinking we're going to recapture that moment again and again and again. And that enjoyment of a sailboat lasts until you pull it into a marina and you see this. All of a sudden, there's all these other sailboats, and we get caught in the comparison trap. It's one thing, friends, to be happy. It's another to be caught in this endless cycle of constantly trying to be happier. If we fail to do that, if we fail to reframe our lives in a certain way, and we get caught in this comparison trap, if we get caught into this endless cycle of I need to be happier, I need to be happier, I need to be happier. If we get caught in that endless loop versus finding the happiness, folks, the happiness is just right in front of us. And God's really clear. He knows that's a human proclivity, a human tendency. So he has this little thing called the 10 Commandments, one of which is thou shalt not covet. Restated, don't wish you had all the stuff someone else has. That's simple. And that's a great place to start. Because, folks, part of it, and this is a little bit of an aside, if we can really live into thou shalt not covet, in other words, not wishing that we had everything everyone else had, that command over time becomes a promise. Thou shalt not covet becomes, you're just not going to be comparing yourself anymore. You're not going to be wishing you had everyone else's stuff anymore. And there's a beautiful freedom in that, right? So that's just a basic starting point. Thou shalt not covet, an important sacred no that leads to a much greater sacred yes. Listen to these words here. A life of wonder, faith, love, steadiness, and courtesy. Wonder, faith, love, steadiness, courtesy. And again, just thinking for a minute, that wonder we might find up on the roof. I mean, folks, right? There's always these moments. Always these moments where we can just sit there in awe and wonder of how good these things are, how good people are. I mean, of course there's the opposite. And of course we need to not be ignorant of that. But there's also 24/7, there are moments of wonder right in front of you. Right in front of all of us. The more we love what is good and true, the more the angels, and with the angels heaven, and here the connotation is all of heaven, love to be with us because they immerse themselves in the good impulses of love and the true ideas of faith. They are really alive. So folks, that idea, like the more we kind of like line up with what is good and true, what is really good and true, the more we connect to heaven. And it's not just connecting to heaven like reaching up with an antenna and kind of stirring heaven. It's reaching up with that antenna and tuning in to what heaven is all about. And the idea being that angels, that angels surround us. There is such a thing as guardian angels. And they're just so desiring to just wait to make that connection because of all the joy that flows in with it. God's joy, their joy, your joy. God's joy, their joy, your joy.